Hey guys, what's up? And we're back again with another Man of Steel video. This time we're doing the review.
About time.
Yes.
About time.
We blame him.
I blame him.
I blame him.
I don't blame anyone. I just want to get this.
You blame Alex.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he's a fail bomb.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah.
His job.
His job is to be our scapegoat.
Okay, so...
Anyway, introductions, please. I'm Jay Bailey.
Interjunctions?
Introductions. Who cares? Just
Name
say our
yourself.
names.
State your name, purpose, and rank.
There we go.
I'll start off with mine. Shark Productions, rank...
0.
And this guy?
I'm Jake. My purpose is fun, and my rank is who cares.
I'm Jay Bailey.
And he has no life.
Can we kill you yet?
Yes.
All right.
Anyway,
after the
getting back to the actual thing.
Can I do my introduction? Thank you. Jerk. I'm Jay Bailey. My purpose is whatever the hell I feel like, and my rank is higher than his.
Good point. I'm the highest, though. I mean, I'm fat. That's what happens.
Anyway, now we can go to the review.
Yes.
So, as you guys
Start
know,
yourself.
if you guys have saw my adventures, Summer 2013 video episode 2, which got posted up today because we were all drained yesterday, let's say that. And if you saw this vlog video, we went to go see Man of Steel.
Yes. Before you.
Don't be rude to the losers.
Plus, we heard from a couple of our friends on Facebook that they didn't enjoy it as much as we did, surprisingly.
Well, they're idiots. And they don't belong in the DC fandom.
Good point. Good point.
They need to be removed.
Now, getting back to the actual
Cut
thing.
off the dead limbs.
Okay, so spoiler free. We'll have spoiler free section.
No. We're gonna name this spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, turn this video off now.
Because we will spoil the hell out of it.
You will go to that movie and say, I already know all this.
Okay, so number one, the one thing I liked was is how different it was from the other Superman movies. That was one thing.
Yeah, I definitely.
I liked, my favorite part was, I know it's going to sound weird because Superman has the rule of no killing.
Yeah.
But in the end, I liked how he chose to break his rule. And it was because he was either going to lose his people or he was going to lose himself. And he chose to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
And that was really worth it because that ending was pretty good.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, because when it got to that point, I was like, okay, he's either gonna have to kill him, which is gonna be breaking his rule, or he's gonna do.
Well, technically, if you go by the comics, his rule wasn't created until after this part. He had just never had a need to kill.
Oh.
Because everybody just got out of his way.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that when it comes to the sequel, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be one, that's when he's gonna start adapting that role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I see two easy paths of a sequel. Supergirl, Darkseid first meeting with both of them, or
Lex Luthor?
No, Lex Luthor's done to death.
Hmm.
You gotta do something different. You gotta do something. Actually, I have it on my phone. Where did I put that? I was texting someone about this earlier.
And you have it in your pocket or
No.
left it in your car?
It's not in my car. It's somewhere.
All right.
Oh, it's back there behind you.
Yeah. There you go. Reach.
Now,
So it was,
I will say, because I noticed, because I did notice a couple other YouTube videos that people have done on the Man of Steel review, and they've said that the romance is kind of, off in the movie, but to me, it seemed like it was fine. What about you?
Do it now?
About the romance, because
It was too fast.
Yeah, it definitely was too fast.
The other movie that is an easy choice is Nega Man. The Nega Superman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or if they really want to go above and beyond, get Martian Manhunter mixed in.
Yeah.
Super Martian. That was some of the most legit comics ever.
It was.
And who's the guy that directed this one?
Zack Synder. The guy
Yeah.
who did 300 and Watchmen.
He's a decent Marvel fan.
Yeah.
And not only that, but, see, the second I found out Chris Nolan got on board, a lot of people were freaking out because they're like, oh, great, realistic Superman. I'm like, you can't make Superman realistic.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's the whole point. So Batman was realistic because he was an Earth hero.
Yeah.
Superman is an alien. He's supposed to represent a higher power.
Yeah, and if you try taking that away from his character, then,
He's no longer Superman.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's Crypto, the super dog. He's essentially a dog that can do human feats. There you go.
Pretty much.
And by God, I hated that show so much. I hated it.
Hey, when Crypto was brought into the original anime, it was really good.
Yeah,
The show was stupid as
It
hell.
was.
That was beyond stupid. I don't know what Warner Bros. Was thinking that time.
I'm not sure either.
I think they were high.
I think they were high and
Probably.
pulling for money.
Yeah, possibly. That's why. How long did it last? Like a season?
2 seasons.
Two seasons?
Yeah,
Two
two
seasons.
seasons. And within that season, I think it was like, what, 13 episodes each or something?
No, it was
Or
like, it was 20 episodes. each.
20?
Yeah. There were
Damn.
7 filler and 13 real.
They don't need that much filler in that show.
Hey,
The whole show is filler.
Why they have to make it anyway? Warner
Bring
Brothers.
back Static Shock.
Warner Brothers. Were you high?
Yes.
Were you high when you?
Please
created
answer
that
this
show?
question.
I mean, seriously.
bring back Young Justice.
Young Justice was.
We already mentioned this.
We've already
yesterday.
talked
That's true.
about this.
That's true.
We've already talked about
That's
this. On to back to Superman.
Yeah. Now, I think there was.
What about the actual story? Did anybody enjoy the actual
I
was a
thought
story?
it was a very, very good story.
It was
Yeah.
a very, very good adaptation to the comics.
Yeah.
It made a whole lot of sense. You could walk out and still come back and still have a good understanding of what's going on because
Yeah.
they touched on it constantly.
And
I
being
liked
like
that.
the first film, I mean, yeah, it's a reboot, but like being the first film of the reboot, I think it did a pretty good job from what I saw. Like, you know,
Yeah.
good music, good action sequences. Yeah, the romance, it went too fast. That's
I
my
have
biggest
a-
complaint, but
My biggest complaint is my power geek was killed. He had the Megaton Punch and Kentel-El. Kentel-El is a martial arts form. That's a Kryptonian martial arts form. I can see how he learned it though because Zod learned it. He knew it. It is the most powerful martial arts form in the known galaxy. And it's so powerful because you let go of being alive. It's a spiritual suicide that gives you the ability to
but
learn it.
didn't it take a while for him in the comics to learn the Megaton Punch?
The reporter girl, I can't remember. Wow. Lois Lane had to die. His cousin had to die. Batman died. And then he was so lost in his mom died. He was so lost in his own head, he went and had to give up oxygen, water, food, sustenance, life, and survive off of nothing. Oxygen.
Oh, damn.
That's what he had to do to learn this.
That's
And in the movie,
they kind of ignored it a little bit.
Yeah, but I can
Yeah.
understand why. I mean, he had Zod, who was a master at this martial arts form.
Yeah.
So and it showed him at points struggling with this issue, not knowing what it was and having to learn as he went.
Yeah.
That I approved of that. They made it hard for him, but I didn't like the fact that they sped through the learning because he does not need to know that yet.
Yeah.
It has essentially made him the god Superman already.
True.
The super god already. And that is not what I approve of this early in the series.
Now the comedy, I think, was well timed.
Yes.
Definitely
That's for
well
sure.
timed.
You're trying to find out where I hang my cape. You won't.
No.
Are you effing stupid?
It's like Sir Villerstrom.
No.
Yeah, I
the
know where
moment
you're trying to find my
between
cake.
no, okay, the moment between him and Lois, where he's like, you know, they say like once the first kiss happens, like it goes downhill from here.
I think that only refers to humans.
Yeah.
And what about the time after Superman flies away from that Sir Villerstrom crash? It's like, why are you smiling?
I think he's kind of hot.
Just get back in the
Just
car.
get in the car.
Get back in
Yeah.
the car.
Let's get back in the car. Oh, the other one that made me laugh.
The
a lot was
the
the
S
super
round?
dad.
Oh
the super-
yeah,
the super dad.
Oh yeah, when they were inside the ship and then
And Lois uploaded Superman's dad into it, and it made me laugh.
he was like, go
Yeah.
left,
He's
go
like-
right, close.
He's like, open, close on her hand. Oh, you might want to grab her gun. Shoot left, shoot right, duck, shoot up.
It's like,
Closed door, open door.
It's like-
this way, that way.
it's
Duck.
like good luck to you. Oh, and you might want to move your head to the left.
But
What?
even
What?
It's through the guy.
But even
It's
when
like-
it came to serious standpoints with Superman's dad, like
Yeah.
with the final confrontation between him and Zod, I know like a couple people mentioned that they were confused, but I kind of got what the
It was
final kind of,
it was the
yeah.
final fight
Yeah.
of whether Zod was going to follow a good path or a bad path.
Yeah.
They were going for the same goal, but Zod had a different ideal of how to get there.
Yeah.
So he was trying to reason it with him one last time. And it made sense if it's a moral debate, not a real debate. It was trying to have Zod really realize that killing the people was not necessary. It was adapting the few remaining people and giving birth to the new ones there. It's a moral and philosophical debate. Not a lot of people were supposed to understand.
Now, the scene where Clark's adopted father, like when he gave up his life, like I felt bad.
I know. He told
like, just
him
wait.
not to save him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how hard that must have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely like, I almost teared up in all honesty with that part. I almost teared up.
Though that part was another thing I had a little bit of issue with, because Superman's dad did not die until after Supergirl showed up.
Really?
So he was killed by Darkseid because he was housing Supergirl.
That's true. So him getting killed off in the beginning, kind of.
The dog. The dog is what died, not the dad. But it also played more into Superman holding on to his human side. Yeah, so in the end, it was okay. Yeah. But at the moment, I was kind of like,
what? No. Like what the hell?
Oh, and just to give you guys a little bit of a warning, there's no like after credit scene.
There is not. Don't waste your time.
Just walk out the theater with that awesome music behind you.
We waited. There's no ending scene.
There really isn't.
Now, as far as saying what happened in the sequel, like a lot of people are thinking Darkseid might be the villain that shows up in the sequel.
And this is where he comes in.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseid and Nega Man, they're the two easy routes. They're the two most pathable routes from where it left off.
Yeah.
Nega Man is Luthor, but Luthor created Nega Man, and Nega Man got out of control. He is Superman, but without the morals of Superman. He was alone, and he's the Kryptonian side of Superman. He doesn't know what it's like to be human. He doesn't know what it's like to be loved. He looks like a zombie, so people are scared of him. It's more of a Superman realizing he's so different from the world that he can't face it, so he lets Nega Man live to embody his own issues. Or it's Darkseid and Supergirl, because Darkseid didn't show up in fully until JLA.
I told you.
And the reason I say this is because JLA raided Darkseid's homeworld.
Really?
Yes. In JLA, in the comic books, they raided Darkseid's homeworld for... I think they captured Wonder Woman and a couple of the Amazons to harness their magic.
I think you're right about that too.
But I mean, the JLA helped out with getting Supergirl back, but in the original comics, it was really just Batman that was there. It wasn't Wonder Woman as well. It was really just Batman and Superman. And dude, Batman made Darkseid respect him. You know how hard that is to earn respect of a villain that levels planets for fun? Basically, Batman took all the dark spores. One dark spore is about 17 times the explosion of a Hiroshima bomb.
17 times?
Yes. 17 times. And
damn.
Darkseid had about 1,000 million, something like that, scattered across his planet. So what Batman did was he took a bomb, a detonated bomb with a transmitter that was able to cross the universe, as given to... Superman helped him make it. So he put it on this one of the Hellspores and told Darkseid, if you ever mess with Supergirl again, I am going to blow this up, create a rip in the known universe, and suck your ass back into it.
Wow.
And Darkseid was just like, okay, just know that you have earned my respect, and I will not mess with you anymore. But because he swore not to mess with Batman or Supergirl, it doesn't mean he can't come after Superman. It's not breaking his oath.
True. So true.
So
now,
Batman and
talking
Supergirl
about
are
the individual characters.
But Superman is okay with this, because Superman can stand up to him.
So, getting to the actual characters now. Okay, so what did you guys think of like Clark Kent and like in this version of the Superman movie compared to what we've seen in the other ones?
Clark Kent and Superman look too much alike. The point was to make Clark Kent look as different from Superman
as possible.
Yeah. I mean, he had a fake beard and everything sometimes.
Yeah.
That was the point.
And then in this, it's like they look.
They look exactly the
Yeah.
same except for glasses, and Lois Lane knew it.
Yeah, which she didn't find out until like later on.
Yeah, in the series, she didn't find out until well after it. Well after Luther kidnapped her and told her.
And I think that's what they were kind of They're doing with the ending with him having the glasses. I think it was kind of like an homage to that.
They're rushing that relationship.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why it took off the way it did, but they're rushing it.
Huh.
I really think they're rushing it. But again, all my worries are null and void until the next movie comes out and I get a good idea of what's going on. Because that relationship may play in heavily in the next movie.
It might.
I mean, you can't just make one Superman movie.
Yeah.
It's superheroes. They are the icon of this era right now because of what we're going through. We want to look at and see if there's a power greater than ours that can help us. We want hope, which is what the S stood for. Now, it's not an S, sorry. It is a diagram meaning hope. But as Lois Lane points out in the movie, on our world, it's an S.
True.
It's
Which I
an
actually
S.
thought was kind of funny too.
It's
when
an
I
S
played
and
that.
an S.
It's like it's
Yeah.
just an S.
The half-eaten mint roll.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Now getting to Lois Lane.
I liked her.
Yeah.
She had that kind of like bitchy, free-roaming attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what she had in the comics. That was a great play on. I loved that.
Yeah. Which I thought was actually pretty good because, like, I don't want to compare this to Marvel in a sense, but when it came to, like, the original Spider-Man trilogy, like, because Mary Jane wasn't what she was, and then when I look at it with Superman and Lois Lane, like, they were
Mary Jane should have been what Lois Lane was.
Yeah.
That bitchy attitude-filled, kind of like, let's take on the world attitude.
Yeah.
You're dating a superhero. Get it right.
Which I'm glad they kind of did that. Which I'm glad they kind of fixed with, you know, when it came to the Amazing Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy.
Gwen
Yeah.
Stacy was a badass.
Yeah.
And of course you can't have a Gwen Stacy without having Emma Stone play her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just plays those
Definitely.
parts, those super badass, down-to-earth female parts. She's good at those.
Yeah. So, when it comes to the sequel of Man of Steel, I'm expecting everyone to play the same roles. Like, you know.
Well, I mean, I expect an emotional twist and then coming back to those roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Superman in this one.
Yeah.
He was started out really strong, really confident, and then
And
all
then
of
by
a
the
sudden
end, like,
he was
It doesn't.
it was more like this. He started out way up here, and then he came down and went all the way to the bottom for a while, and then came back up and about here. He's not at the same level of confidence, but he's confident enough to help himself
True.
and take out F-57s.
Yeah. But anyway, overall thoughts on this?
Oh wait, before we end it off, what did you guys think of the action sequences when it came to the movie? Because I mean, there were very few action sequences.
They were
like-
very good.
Yeah.
The last one was overkill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
The-
kind of was.
That last one, it was amazing. It looked amazing. It was
Yeah,
glorious.
it looked amazing.
Yeah.
But it was so
it was-
exaggerated that it made no sense.
Yeah.
it really
There was a lot of it had no purpose. It just,
They kind of stretched it out too long. That's what
Yeah.
I felt like when I
they
watched
stretched
it.
out too long, and Zod is a warrior. Why would he take his time killing Superman?
Yeah.
It made
Just
no
kill
logical
I
sense.
think
Just
no, 'cause
kill the
if
guy
I'm
and
right,
go on your way.
If I'm correct, wasn't it in the comics where Zod was like, I want to just kill him, like, you know,
Yeah,
as far as I can.
Zod went
Yeah.
for him immediately because he knew Superman could regenerate insanely fast. So
So that was different in the movie.
in the movie, he let it draw out. That's not what Zod would have done. It made no logical sense to a warrior that Zod was.
Oh.
Logically, it was smart to just kill him off immediately, or try to. Obviously, he failed.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But
So, overall rating on my standpoint with the movie, I'd have to
are we
give it...
going 1 out of 10?
Huh?
1 out of 10?
Yeah. I'd have to give it about, like, a 9 out of 10 from my point of view. What about you?
Blue?
I give it about the same route. 8.5, 9 out of 10.
I'd have to go somewhere in the range of 8.5 to 9. Closer to 8.5, personally, because of my Power Geek. It was shot in the back. I mean,
Sure.
Sorry.
But it wasn't as bad as it was with Iron Man 3, though.
Iron Man 3 was horrible. The story was great, action sequences were good. Story sucked.
Yeah.
The story in the Vision of a Power Geek sucked.
That makes sense.
You put two villains together that made no sense. You put Extremis in there that didn't have anything to do with that group. It made no sense.
Yeah, it didn't.
Extremis was not part of that group.
Yeah.
And it felt so wrong. I actually turned to my girlfriend and said, I'm never coming back to see this movie again. I will turn all the people I can away from it. She kissed me and said, everything will be alright. I'll give you a hug later. It's just like, fine.
So, from a comic book movie standpoint, Iron Man 3 wasn't that good, but when you look at it as like an individual film,
Yes,
it's good.
from an individual film, it's great. But if you go in there and watch it, do not compare it to the comics, because you will come out sad.
Possibly crying on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Possibly losing part of your soul in the theater. But Superman, the Man of Steel,
Great movie.
great movie, and easily comparable to the comics, except for two things that are kind of minor at this point.
Yeah.
At this point.
The martial arts form he had to learn to fight off Zod, which made sense.
No.
It makes a logical sense.
Yeah.
Now, whether this will push into like a Justice League movie, we'll just have to wait and see. I
I
know they're
see
trying
them-
to push it for 2015, which is kind of
But
close.
I actually see them doing it end of 2014, but they have to fill in one more person if they can even start the JLA, and that is the Flash.
The Flash.
He was he was one of the starters. Flash and Wonder Woman were the other two people that really took it off.
Oh.
And then Martian Manhunter came in. He came in shortly after
that's
the
right,
JLA
right.
was formed.
True.
Technically, I guess he went by comic books, so did Wonder Woman, but she was there almost immediately after they started talking about it.
Oh.
They need their
That-
sidekicks,
yeah.
too.
And I mean,
Ooh, they could make a Green Arrow movie.
they could. Although I heard they might redo Green Lantern, but
Green Lantern was good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hal Jordan, the guy that played all of them, were great.
Yeah.
I mean, bring them back, make him do another movie.
yeah.
He played it right. Hal Jordan was a freelancing, almost sociopathic idiot.
Like Spartacus.
He was played perfectly.
Yeah.
The one movie that I hope, to everything that they do, I hope Superman's little symbol of hope reigns true here. Marvel Avengers meets DC JLA.
Yeah.
The most epic
that would
adventures
be epic.
ever. One of the most epic things ever created. They need to do it.
That would be epic. It would.
Because, I mean, you had multiverses falling apart everywhere. I mean, they'd probably be like a 4-part movie, but it'd be worth it.
It would.
Give those special people that'll take their day off and go and watch all 4 movies back to back. It would be epic. It would be great. It should be done.
Yeah.
But it has to be done right. Also, one other movie I want to see, Young Justice.
Young Justice.
A Young Justice, the sidekick stories. Not just the superheroes. You want to get those little guys in there because they made a big difference in the superhero stories.
But if I remember correctly, didn't Young Justice take place like after the JLA stuff?
Sort of. They kind of took off at the same time because they had to train people who had superpowers. That's what the original Young Justice was just training. But you could play that in there. The ability to see what they went through to learn their powers. I mean, a Static Shock movie would be pretty cool too.
Yeah.
It would.
They could have done it at the same time the cartoon was out, but
No,
they
yeah,
couldn't.
they didn't.
Well, they didn't have the technology to do it back
Yeah,
then.
That's
that's
true. That's true.
They didn't have the animation technology they have now.
But I mean, all in all, guys, you know,
Good movie.
Man of Steel, great movie, great story, great action, romance. It flew by. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
It flew by.
Some of the action sequences were exaggerated, but there were so few of them, the story makes up for it.
Yeah.
And the music was brilliant.
Oh, perfectly placed.
Who
Yeah.
did it? Hans Zimmer again?
Yeah, he's good.
Hans
at that.
Zimmer.
Yeah.
Yep. Hans Zimmer. You are a god.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
And that pretty much wraps up our review on Man of Steel. I'm Shark Productions.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Jade, the person that forgot his introduction.
And we're signing off, guys.
All right.
Catch you later.